So I want to talk about probably the most important mindset that you could have, and that's your self-worth. Your self-worth pretty much dictates everything in your life. Who you marry, what you become, how much you make. If you really start to look deep, self-worth is behind all of what you have or don't have. If you think about depression, or the constant negative inner monologue that you have, that's all how much you value yourself. And if you don't value yourself high enough, what do you have to look forward to? What do you have to be proud of? I think there's a direct link between depression and the negative thoughts, all being directly related to how you value yourself amongst other people, because it's always a plus one, minus one in this world. And self-worth is different than self-esteem and self-confidence. Self-esteem is how we view ourselves in that present moment. And there's external factors that can cause you to think lesser or more of yourself, but it's in the present. And then self-confidence is if you're doing some kind of task, some kind of job, and if you've done it several times and you're good at it, or you know some shortcuts, your confidence level is going to be high. But those are kind of fleeting, because everything is all going to come back to the self-worth, the long-term value that you place on yourself, where you fit in. Am I worth being loved? Can I love? Do I belong in this room? Do I belong in the room full of millionaires when I only have $100 to my name? Well, if my self-worth is high, it doesn't really matter. You'll make it happen. You're very resourceful when you have a high self-worth. So you can see how I believe there's a direct link to your success in life and how you view your self-worth. That brings up an interesting variable too, because if you're in a room where people don't think you belong and you don't think you belong, that feeling is amplified. Or vice versa, if you're in a room where people are accepting and you believe you belong in there, then that positive aspect is amplified as well. The other thing to consider too is if you're trying to boost your self-worth, stop comparing yourself to everyone else. You've done what you've done. You can do what you do. It doesn't matter what anyone else does or have done. It's not a plus one, minus one. It's about being kind to you so that you can become what you want to become and do what you want to do. Without having a high self-worth, and others may call it egoism, narcissism. But think about the opposite. You want to have negative thoughts? You want to think bad about yourself? You want to put other people above you? It doesn't make any sense. I think if you look at all the successful people out there, it's the same story. They all believed they were the best, even if they weren't. But they didn't give up, and they valued themselves at a very high level. So don't buy into the narrative that it's egoism, it's narcissism, you're cocky. No, what's the opposite of it? To think you're a piece of shit? That doesn't make much sense. Who wants to live a life like that? Life's already has a bunch of stuff going on that you got to deal with that's all negative. At least have something positive in your life, because at the end of the day, all you got is you. And if you ain't good with you, you got a problem. And that's where the depression and other things set in. So, self-worth. Look it up. Ask yourself, what's my self-worth? Why isn't it as high as I want it to be? And just dig deep and start being kind to yourself. The inner voice, the inner monologue that you have, start telling it to shut up. Tell it how you want it to think. I mean, you know what you're capable of. We all do. But we all want somebody else to tell us what to do or think, because it's easier. Self-worth. It's probably the single most important mindset that you will conquer.